Trophy winner has entered the NFL draft. Now, whether he will actually go on and play in the NFL, that is another story, because Kyler Murray, the quarterback out of Oklahoma, has other options. Or more specifically, an other option. He's already drafted in the first round of the baseball draft last June. He could decide to play baseball instead. So, Ian Rappaport, what exactly does this declaration today mean?
What it means, Lindsay, is essentially he has the now option to do both. He can enter the NFL draft. He submitted his name. He can go to the combine. He can work out for teams. He can sign with a football agent, which theoretically he could have done anyway. At the very least, this gives him the chance to weigh what his stock is going to be in football and get real legitimate feedback from NFL scouts. Or he can just decide, go in the draft, not like where he goes, and end up playing baseball as well. Now, I've talked to several scouts just trying to get an approximation of where he could be drafted. Most people think he is a second or third round pick, a Friday selection, even though quarterbacks do end up getting bumped up a little bit. And the main point of discussion is he is not very tall. And the scouts I've spoken with have trouble accurately identifying what it's going to be like in the NFL with a quarterback that is 5'9" and 7/8. But now that at least he is going to enter the draft, we will have a lot of time to break all that down.
Thank you very much, Ian. A few more headlines to pass along. Larry Fitzgerald says he's going to take some time to decompress before he makes a decision about his future. Says he's not ready to commit to another year in the league or to retirement. As of right now, he's set to be a free agent next year, but he has said in the past that he won't play for anyone but Arizona. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, Tom Pelissero reporting that Gary Kubiak will be joining the Vikings staff in an undetermined offensive role. Kevin Stefanski is the offensive coordinator there, but Kubiak will contribute in some capacity. Browns are going to have some new faces around the building next year as well, with a new head coach in Freddie Kitchens. The interim offensive coordinator was promoted to the main job last week. He was introduced today in Berea with big plans that he shared with Omar Ruiz.
Thank you very much, Freddie Kitchens. Look around you here. Look how beautiful this stadium looks with all the snow around. Can you imagine January football games here?
Yeah, that's what I would say, is it's not too beautiful because it's not crowded and packed and in January, and that's where we eventually want to get to, is playing games in January.
Coach, last time I saw you in this stadium, we were talking about what a great group you had in your running backs room. Now you have all of the rooms.
Right.
What's this rise been like for you the last year or so?
You know, I don't know, I keep getting asked that same question, but to me it's just doing your job, and I try to do my job every day to the best of my ability in that day, and try to stay focused on the process of just doing that job. You know, we'll see, but moving forward, it's their team. It's not my team.
One of the jobs you did was help Baker Mayfield play exceptionally well in that back half of the year. How do you continue to get him better every day?
Well, I think, you know, Baker does a good job of understanding his role and his job, and he understands that. I told him he's never going to be a finished product. You're not a finished product as a person, and you're not a finished product as a coach, and you're definitely not a finished product as a player. So as long as he keeps that mantra alive as far as of getting better on a day in and day out basis, we'll be fine.
What are the expectations for Freddie Kitchens in 2019?
Well, our expectation is to go out and compete with toughness and being smart, physical, never looking at the scoreboard, and just putting everything we've got out there on each day basis.
Congratulations, Freddie. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, here is where the Browns want to find themselves next season, playing in the AFC title game presented by TurboTax Live. The reality for this year is Patriots at Kansas City. First game ever for the AFC Championship game to be played at Arrowhead. This is a rematch. That's why we're playing at Arrowhead come Sunday. Chiefs and Patriots game, though, from week 6. Boy, it was a thriller. It was 40-40 late in the game, ended up with 83 total points, almost 1,000 yards. Last team with the football won, and we'll see what happens on this Sunday right here.
Yeah.
Willie McGinnis, take 2 for this game.
I will.
I'm a fan, so sign me up for a game like that. We don't expect it to be a shootout, maybe, but what's
For
a
the fans, they will want a shootout.
Sure. Give me a matchup to watch come Sunday.
Well, the first order of business has to be with Pat Mahomes. Keep him in the pocket. And I know that sounds crazy because he's very accurate from the pocket. But if you can keep him in the pocket and don't let him make those out-of-pocket plays, 2 things that happen. Coverage breaks down, DBs uncover, and he can make those crazy unorthodox plays that we see. So try and keep him in the pocket, limit his chances to make big plays down the field.
Okay, so compress around him on the pass rush, but then they also have to work with Andy Reid coming up with all those creative formations, pre-snap motions, and then play designs once they snap it.
Historically, he likes to give you a 15-play script. And within that script, you'll see a lot of formations, you'll see a lot of motion shifts, you'll see a lot of movement. You saw this against the Indianapolis Colts. They were not ready for this. You give a team like this 2 weeks, let alone a week, he's going to come out and give you a bunch of things you haven't seen. So when you have that, you got to have patience on the defensive side of the ball. You can't get caught up with everything going on. There's a lot of bells and whistles, but certain things they're going to do. They're going to run the ball out of certain things, and other things they're going to pass the ball. But if you give them a pre-snap look and you get to running around with all the things that are moving, you're going to determine where they go with the football. So it's like being in a heavyweight match. You got to be able to absorb a couple of big blows, recover, and stay consistent. If you don't, easily you'll look at the scoreboard and it'll be 21-0. So you got to be able to weather that storm when you played against the Kansas City Colts, because they're going to give you a lot of different looks.
The matchup for this one, I mean, it's fun. Andy Reid versus Bill Belichick.
Pick one. There's a lot.
But yeah, you got the GOAT versus the greatest young quarterback in the game, and then two capable defenses as well.
Absolutely.
Should be a fun one.
Right, it was the same one. So the final score there, 45-35. That is 80 combined points.
I love it.
That was 970 total yards. They only punted 3 times combined in the game. Both quarterbacks played well. Kamara scored 3 touchdowns. Michael Thomas had 211 receiving yards, many of which came on Marcus Peters, which prompted this exchange afterward.
Well, that was the plan. They were going to travel Marcus to him, and that was fine by us. You know, we thought we really liked that matchup a lot.
Tell Sean Payton, keep talking that. We going to see him soon. You feel me?
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I like what he was saying on the sidelines, too. So tell him, keep talking that, and I hope you see me soon. You feel me? And then we're going to have a good little, nice little bowl of gumbo together.
I don't know that Sean Payton's going to want to have that bowl of gumbo. The creepiest thing about the way that he said that, it was how serious he was, and then he smiled.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went back to serious.
You got to be a little
That's
crazy.
not good. That's not good.
No.
Gotta watch him.
You got to watch him.
I don't know that that's a
Something in the
matchup.
gumbo.
Are we even going to see that matchup this time around? Because Aqib Talib is back, so it feels like
If
that'll
I was the
change
Rams,
things.
I would not want that matchup. I mean, I understand Marcus and how he feels about it, but your big brother will be on him. Aqib's going to be on him, right? He's going to guard Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
You're going to be on the other guys. And I think that it works out better for the Rams, honestly. This gives them the edge. I mean, there's a ton of points scored in that game, but man, you got to find a way to slow this guy down. And if you can put Aqib out there and he can do what he's always done, and you let Marcus go over there on the other side and mess around with those other guys and jump some routes and maybe make some plays, then you have a chance. And then the other side of that is being able to stop the run. They're going to try and run the football. Obviously, the Saints, you look at them, you say, oh, it's Drew Brees, it's Michael Thomas. It's really about Kamara and Ingram, right? So you got to be able to stop them. And the Rams showed that they could do that just this last weekend. So if they can do that, let Talib show up and play in this game like he wasn't there last time, I think they got a chance.
We're going to have so much fun this week talking about all the different matchups in this one, because there are so many weapons on both sides of the ball. What is the most important matchup as far as you're concerned?
No, for me, it's both teams' play callers. It's Sean McVay versus Sean Payton. Which ego is going to get in the way? Whose ego is going to get in the way here, right? Instead of going, who's going to go against the grain? Instead of letting the flow of the game dictate how you call it, who's going to try to upstage who? A lot of people are talking about how Sean McVay is now the big offensive-minded genius in football. So that's going to piss Sean Payton off.
And really, they should both be running the football.
And they both should be running the ball. So here's an example. Now we know C.J. Anderson's now, with the LA Rams and how great he's doing, right? 422 yards in 3 games. Him and Gurley, right? But will he start to throw the ball with Goff all of a sudden, right? The games that they lost in Week 9 against the Saints, right? They only ran the ball 18 times with Gurley for 89 yards. Yeah. And then also when they lost in Week 14 to the Bears, they only ran the ball 13 times. Gotta feed those guys in the back.
Out, right?
Yeah,
and he was going against Matt Nagy.
He was going against Matt Nagy,
so he's like,
another offensive genius.
Out-create this guy.
Exactly.
And he kind of got away from what he
exactly.
normally does.
So whose ego is going to get in the way?
That's a good point.
Well, if it helps, the smartest thing is to give those guys the ball on the ground, right?
Also.
I mean, it just seems like so obvious. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are big fashion guys.
Sure.
Yeah. Obviously. So you'll be into this. Microsoft is empowering you to pursue your passion for fashion, and with the chance to win a trip to this year's Super Bowl also. So listen up. You can design a look at dial.style/surface for Todd Gurley's